play. Picked up by Andre from 3/4, and he hit it! He had his eyes on the prize and let it fly.
There he is, right on time. Perfect timing.
Hi.
Going. Oh, is Brian mute? There's Brian.
Here we are. And what's funny, I was just starting to go into my whole spiel when I froze because I forgot to free up my memory. So
what a start.
Let me do this again. What's going on, all you Tandemals? It is another edition of the Tanndemonium Sports Show, a part of the Vendetta Sports Media Podcast Network, streaming exclusively live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Vendetta Sports Media, and coming to you next day, podcasting and on our YouTube channel. Make sure you go to vendettasportsmedia.com to get all of our content because it's all a big bit of a doozy. That's for damn sure. And with me, as always, my hetero life mate, COVID captain himself, Jefferson Legal Jackson Law. J Law, how the hell are you?
Doing good, man. Delta variant. It's a real thing. Had it this past week, but we're recovered. Had one negative test yesterday, waiting the 48 hours, taking another test. If we're negative, it's back to reality.
Oh, hey, man, I know how you feel. That I had COVID for 2 weeks. I thought I was done for.
You know what?
It's no fun, man.
And for those that don't know, we're going to welcome our special guest, Tre Coleman, creator of the In the Trenches Miami Dolphins podcast. Tre, how the hell are you, my man?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Another day in paradise, living the dream. I'm the only one of us that hasn't had COVID, to my knowledge. My mom had it, though. My mom was in the hospital with COVID.
You lucky.
And I thought that
you don't want your C card.
No. That's why I kept my black ass in the house the whole damn time. But I'll tell you, and I've said this.
COVID, you're like, oh man, the government's gonna be looking for me and shit.
There's gonna be some dude on your front door talking about, I need some antibodies.
Yeah, man, you got them vaccines.
Yeah.
After you get COVID, you can't even get the vaccine for a while.
Wow. See, now I got the Moderna, right? And I got sick for a week after. But see, here's why. I tried working out like 2 days later. My body's like, nah, man. No, you can't do that. I'm putting your ass down. I'm laying in bed feeling like I'm dying while listening to the audiobook of First Blood talking about Rambo, finish me off. Please.
Oh, did you see that? I know this is so random, but did you see that last Rambo movie?
Yes, I did.
I was watching that and I was like, what the who wrote this?
Yeah. The last Rambo was it does not
the little kid into the fire. You didn't see it was like a 5-second clip, like
yeah. Yo, I'll tell you something.
Oh my god.
The new stuff with like Rocky Balboa and even the Creed movies, they fit with the Rocky mythos. But when you look at every Rambo, you look at John Rambo,
it's just,
and then Rambo Last Blood, it's like, huh?
Yeah, it's like they were sitting in the writer's room like, all right, fuck it. How do we make this go up, guys? You know what? Let's toss some kids in the fire.
Yeah. No, you know what it is. It's that they're sitting there like, all right, Sly, you kind of screwed us on the Rambo kick when you did 3 Expendables movies. So we got to take this next level. What are we going to do? He's like, I know. Put me on a 50 cal and we're going to make this shit look like Saving Private Ryan. And then the next one, it's going to be blood in, blood out with more blood. I like it,
It's
Sly.
like, God damn, John, you just hit every artery every time. Okay.
Yeah, like your man just he's like Bullseye from the Ben Affleck Daredevil. He's just like arteries. So, but yeah, my mom caught COVID and she was in a hospital for like 11 days. And I still say it to this day. Her hatred for her doctor is what got her well. She dug into the power of the dark side and left that hospital. She hated her doctor.
Unlimited power.
Oh yeah. And I pretty much cussed out her doctor too, because he's one of those doctors that feels like, well, I got a PhD. I can talk to you however you want. No, you can't, bro. You don't talk to me like that. And I told him, I said, you can't talk to my mom like that. My mom's a Southern black woman that worked at the post office from the 80s up into the early 2000s. You can't talk to her any which kind of way, because she'll tell you off.
The NI and the GGER.
Mm-hmm. They didn't put little, they didn't take stuff off that say, well, y'all say it like that. We can say it like that. No, she got the hard and the hard BITCHs. So yeah. But anyway,
she never goes to Cracker Barrel to this day.
Probably not. Probably not. I tell you one thing. I remember I was a kid and that whole thing with Denny's came out and she said, we're not going to Denny's ever again. I'm like, but I like the Grand Slam. All right. So Trey, tell us a little bit about your podcast. You're the creator of the In the Trenches Miami Dolphins podcast. Tell us about you and what made you create this podcast.
Well, a little bit about me first. My name is Tre Coleman. One quick fun fact: I am one of 26 kids.
I saw that TikTok. That's insane.
Yo, poor mama.
Nah.
Was that your dad? Was your dad the Rolling Stone, or was your mom just a badass?
You know those air traffic controllers?
Yeah.
All right. Now put one behind my dad's car, and he's still gonna struggle to pull out.
Gotcha.
So my father has like 20 something kids, man, and this is a real big family. We're all mentally disabled somehow, you know, the whole bag.
So your dad is essentially, was it Busy Bone, the high yellow one that had like kids once he was he had kids when he was like 12?
Look, man, if the Dolphins need some backups, we got enough for 11. You feel me?
He said all of his siblings are enough for a whole Dolphins practice squad.
You telling me we got a classroom in that mug? But I was in the United States military for 5 years.
Thank you for your service.
The Navy, more specifically.
I tried to get into the Navy. I tried.
You don't want in on that.
You know what? I told everyone I wanted to be on the sub. They're like, but that's you're at the bottom of the ocean and you're in like a small enclosed
You're gonna
space.
go into that sub.
Did you watch Das Boot?
Did
you watch Das Boot and you're like, I want to do that?
No, you know what it was?
That sounds fun.
No, you know what it was that I wanted to work on the computer systems, and I figured if I was gonna be underwater, it's like, hey, I'll probably die quick. It's all, yo, it's for real, man. You're all of your siblings. Not are you an offense and a defense, but you're almost fielding a baseball team. Matter of fact, you guys got all offense, defense, and then you just get one cousin, and you got a starting five in the NBA.
If you follow me on Twitter, I guess everybody does this shameless plug shit. But if you follow me on Twitter at PFN Trey, there's a video showing all my brothers and sisters that I made and put together. But more onto the fact why I made In the Trenches podcast. You see, well, I felt like there's a gap in our fan base of like hubris, and just I felt like there wasn't a platform where people were really just wanting to say how they feel and really like put it out. So I'm kind of myself. I was thinking I'm a mixture. You know what I mean? I'm a fan, but I'm also an X's and O's mind. Right. And I love watching film. I want to get into more scouting. I want to do that at a bigger platform. But at the same time, I was just like, if I make a podcast, I'm not going to make it for anybody else but me and the people that like to listen to me. Because once you start to harbor ill will towards fan bases for not messing with you, I make a podcast for the people who don't want to listen to my podcast and use it in a Twitter argument later.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want my podcast to be the reasoning behind your opinion on sports. Like, I don't want you to say, well, Tre Coleman said, like, no, bro. We're talking about football. You learn as I learn too. So as I learn more about football, you'll learn. And that's why my Twitter kind of connects to it. Is I'll have references to, okay, here's a thread on Robert Hunt. All right, here's a thread on what a Bear defense is, or a 3-4 or a 3-3 stack. Basically, for me personally, the more educated a fan base is, the more well-rounded the opinion is going to be. Because oftentimes people watch a football game and have no idea what they're looking at.
Yeah, and they just sit there and they run their mouths about it. Right,
yeah,
and they don't know, and they don't know what to look for when you see a running back break a run. All they see is the running back is gone. They don't understand what happens in the trenches. They don't see what happens in the trenches.
No, and
that's the offensive linemen to do their jobs.
And that's why I really loved, because we connected on Twitter. I messaged you and everything. I started following you because getting involved with Dolphins Twitter and everything. I'm not super vocal on Twitter. I like to follow people, though. I like to follow the arguments and everything. Find cool people, to just chill, hang out with. And I love what you've been doing with the with talking about Eichenberg and Hunt. Really focusing them on the Dolphins game, because that's one of the biggest questions that Dolphins fans have had this coming into this season is the offense, specifically the offensive line. There's a number of questions coming in, but the offensive line is definitely one of the biggest ones, and you showing them in the trenches and their growth and what's going on. I see people interacting with that stuff, and they're even me myself are taking a bit more of a understanding from that. And I love the zoomed in focus on what's going on. It's not just big picture. There's tiny little things, parts that make up a whole offense and just the whole team in general. And I love
it takes all 11 players. It takes all 11 players for our offense to work, whereas one defensive player can make a tackle.
Exactly. And I don't think people that have not played football don't understand that. It takes a certain mind, if you haven't played football, to really get it. Like someone like Skip Bayless doesn't get it. They really
Baseless.
Exactly. Like you have to.
Yeah. Oh, dude, don't get us started.
Those are two guys that we despise on this show.
Listen. I despise them. I despise them because they're just such a microcosm of what's wrong with sports media.
If people just go to the website, our website, vendettasportsmedia.com, and you just type in Colin Cowherd, there's pages upon pages of articles that we've written just shitting on the dude and his comments. And even today, it was so funny today because he was talking about Tua today, because all of a sudden before Tua's rookie season started, he just did this 180 on Tua and decided to start hating on him for no real reason when he'd been praising him essentially for the past 3 seasons. And it was so funny today because he had to give Tua props, because everybody is seeing the improvements that Tua is making, because guess what? He's fully healthy and he had an entire offseason under his belt with the coaches, with the offense. And it wasn't a COVID offseason where he was injured either. And it was so funny because you could tell he was like, oh, Tua's playing better, but and then it's like, but he's playing better. It was funny to see him grovel and like eat his words a little bit.
Love to see the backtracking like that. It's you backtrack any far faster, you're gonna be doing the moonwalk.
Oh yeah, and people have to hold them accountable, and that's my issue with sports media is at some point
and fan bases.
We went from presenting facts and our opinion on them into pushing buttons to get clicks. Yeah. And if you notice, like Colin Cowherd knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? If you
Max Kellerman, Stephen A, all of those
guys,
know what they're doing.
They know what
they're doing. It's almost like they went to the Jason Whitlock school of trolling.
Ooh, Jason Whitlock?
Yeah. Oh, he's another one. Honestly, like I'm not a violent man. I used to be, but I'm not. But Jason Whitlock back here. I would seriously love to. I would like to let me be careful what I say, because it's not like a whole bunch of people are going to see it and go to Jason Whitlock. But let's just say that if I could get away with it, I would like to accidentally have a portion of my body that has a lot of bones in it for self-defense. Make content with that super soft sphere that's right around the jaw cheek area that's super outward because he's taking down whole chickens 3 at a time. And just watch it in slow motion.
About Twitter, he was making posts about different subjects, and I'm just like, well, congratulations, sir.
Yeah, he's basically Candace Owens with bigger titties.
Oh, Candace Coonins?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, and what's weird is that sports has sort of followed the same direction as
sensationalism. Because that's what sports is. Did we lose freeze? Yeah, we might have lost.
He might have froze a little bit. This happens all the time. It's never a smooth ride.
Not ever. And here I'm thinking that with my additional RAM and my new gigabyte internet, I got to get an actual desktop that's got more power to it. I'll get that at some point. But no, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that seeing Colin Cowherd having to backpedal when it comes to talking to Tua, and that's actually a really, really good segue. Because Tua looked amazing in the Dolphins' 37-17 win over those Falcons. What did you think of Tua's 187 yards and a touchdown in one half of work? And what did you think of Jalen Waddle's performance?
So to break it down, I like to start with like schematically of looking at things and seeing what they were trying to do. I think Tua played well despite the O-line. And that's something he couldn't do last year because of his hip, different things, not having an off season, being able to prepare properly. But he was mitigating. If we had Tua from this like preseason last year, he would have been a lot better. But he was better at mitigating the pocket. If you saw him climbing despite rushers coming in, Dieter gave up on that touchdown to Myles Gaskin. You'll see Dieter giving up to the tackle, but Tua slides in and out and tosses it to Myles Gaskin. I thought his performance was efficient. It was extremely efficient. It's what I expect from Tua. I have no qualms or issues with what Tua Tagovailoa is going to be as a quarterback. I know Tua will be fine as long as people have this perception of Tua that he's godly sometimes. And then you have this group of Mighty Morphin Tua haters who just hate him no matter what.
Yep.
And if you look at that game, you saw improvements all around. I will say, look for more deeper shots because last year when it was, what was our offensive coordinator's name? Methuselah Chan Gailey.
Yeah.
Right. So Chan Gailey's offense was based off of one-on-ones on the outside because he had Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick is really good at throwing those one-on-ones, 50-50 jump balls because that's what he's used to having. That offense wasn't built for Tua. Tua is a point guard. You know what I'm saying? Tua is I can't think of a good basketball point guard off the top of my head.
Magic Johnson. Yeah, I'll go old school on you. Magic Johnson, Muggsy Bogues, John Starks, Ron Harper.
OG Isaiah Thomas, not the one that's below five.
Real Isaiah Thomas, not the fake one.
I don't want to use Magic Johnson with the Magic Johnson, but
hey, there's nothing magic about it. When you got enough money, you can crush it up into a syringe and heal.
That was actually in South Park, but
that's why I pulled it out of my mouth. Tua's got to have the time to work. Yeah. He's got to have time to see everything and put it where it needs to go. He's not going to be this. I think a lot of people where they get that misconception about Tua and a lot of quarterbacks is that just because they can run and move doesn't mean that's their game. Tua's a pocket passer that is good at scrambling to increase the play, to give the receiver time. But he's not a Michael Vick style quarterback. He's basically what, at least in my mind, from the limited time that I've seen Tua play, because I don't really watch a lot of college football, and I'm getting back really into becoming an analyst. is that Tua is most comfortable when he can stand there in the pocket and make those throws. And when he does have to run, he has to be able to set and throw because he likes to pick you apart. You can't have him running all over the place trying to make throws. That's not his game.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. But I despise the term game manager. I think that term is archaic. But
it's a ridiculous term, and it was a term that kept people of color from being able to play the game of quarterback. Exactly. That was one of those microaggressions.
People of color have slow processes all the time.
Right. That was just yet another term that was used to say, oh, well, black and Hispanic running backs, they can't play quarterback because they just want to run with the ball. We need a game manager.
Jackson, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm listening, dog.
Okay. No. See, when we start getting into the history, Jackson stops and listens because he's like making notes. So when he's around,
is it all right? You okay?
No, man, I'm good. I'm just listening. I'm absorbing information and like processing it all. Yeah, it looks like I zone out a little bit.
Like that for Tua. Like at some point, it can't just be him as a quarterback because I've never, in my 30 years of existing on Don Shula's earth, have never seen somebody hated. Like, and people try to say he's not hated, but
it's
there
crazy.
Are people whose entire personalities on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm in deep. That's one thing I talk about on my podcast is I let people know what it's like socially in the fan base. I don't mind being confrontational, so to speak, and it's not that I'm confrontational, but I will always say what I think and what I feel, no matter what. And when it comes to Tua, there are people who have entire personalities built up around hating him, and I just don't get it.
And you get really that same sort of hatred toward Juju Smith-Schuster, Ben Roethlisberger, the Watt brothers.
Exactly.
JJ isn't that good. He's always hurt. You know what? JJ will run you over. Shut up.
Exactly. I just don't get it. And then you look at what happened with Joy Taylor, and it's just, first of all, Joy Taylor fine, but you see what happened to you see what happened with her, and it's just like, what is this drama? But to end it on a good note with Tua, I think what Dolphins fans can look forward to when it comes to him and this offense is I had the blessing of being able to go to training camp and to see things live action from the padded practices.
How was that, especially? Like, what did you see there that worked for you, and what didn't work for you?
I want to say something is the beat reporters. You know how everybody will get their tweets, and that's another thing I don't do on my podcast. I hate just reading off what other people saw. Yeah. I'm like, oh, Merritt completed a 5-yard pass.
Oh yeah, I see that. I see that on Steelers Twitter all the time. Oh, they did all this and blah blah blah. I was like, you can't get no video.
Like, no. But being there, and I sat right next to where all the beat reporters sat at on purpose. Because there's the media area, and then there's like 4 more stations of stand. And I sat where the beat reporters sat at because in my head, I'm like, I want to be one of these people one day. But I also don't want to be those people online who just hate certain media personalities just to hate them. I need to see what they're possibly seeing to see why they post the way they post. And I sat next to like literally Omar Kelly. He was like right next to me. You guys know who Omar is, right?
I've heard the name.
No,
he's a real big.
I'm a Pittsburgh guy. So.
Omar is like, oh man, you have our old crybaby Minka.
Hey, Minka's on point. Yeah, man.
Minka is the best safety at being at the right place at the right time unintentionally.
Hey, that's part of what the safety position kind of is, though. I mean, not everyone's going to be Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed or Ronnie Lott.
Like, if you look at Minka and his interceptions, he's just somehow just there. Just
hey, I'll take lucky over good every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
That's fair.
And you know what? Thanks for Kellen Balazs too, because I'm loving what I'm seeing in him this preseason. Granted, it's preseason against guys that are going to be in the XFL in another year or two, but he still looks really good. Like, I'll take Kellen Balazs over Benny Snell.
I mean,
hey man, y'all got Najee is serious.
You know what? I was so in. I will say this, and I will stay on it because I'm 100% real about it. I was not happy with the Najee Harris pick because I said, yes, it's good to get a running back, but if you don't have a line for him to run behind, he's as useless as tits on a bull. But
and that was before David Castro left, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was well before David DeCastro left. But Najee is making things happen, and this offensive line is doing its job. So, but I don't want to get too into the Steelers.
Yeah.
Because
so with the offense, from seeing it at training camp, and I apologize for the tangent, I will tell you there's a lot going on at training camp. Like there's 4 separate fields of stuff happening, and it's really, really hard to catch everything. When you go to training camp, you have to pick things that you want to watch. Simple as that, because you're not going to catch everything.
Oh, absolutely. Because you got the ones with the ones, and you got the 2s and 3s, and blah blah blah. And sometimes,
especially with the joint practices, Atlanta was on the far field doing defense versus offense, and then we were doing 11-11 on our side. And I focus. So when they have the one-on-ones, I walk down to see the offensive line in one-on-ones because that's what I'm there for.
Right.
And just from being there and what I saw and what I didn't like,
well, you know, let's put a pause on that real quick because we're up against it. We got to take a quick break here, but definitely I want to know about that because the Dolphins are my second team. I'm not going to lie, the Dolphins are my second team. So with that, we'll be
hop on while you still can, Brian.
Hey, I've always liked the Dolphins. I love when I was a kid. Danny Marino. I went to the same high school as Danny Marino, and when I knew he was a Pittsburgh guy because he came out when I was like 5 back in '84. So when I knew he was a Pittsburgh guy, I got really, really excited. So I've always appreciated the Dolphins. But all right, we'll be back here on the Tanndemonium Sports Show. We're broadcasting live here on twitch.tv/Vendetta Sports Media. We'll be back.
The following broadcast is brought to you in association by XP Coffee Company. XP Coffee Company is the fresh brewed coffee made for gamers by gamers. Get amazing flavors like Choco Loco in 8, 12, or 16-ounce bags, or level up and get Illusion, Isolation, Nightmare, or the Majestic Throne blends in light, medium, or dark roast in whole bean, coarse French press, drip, or fine espresso in 12-ounce, 16-ounce, or 2-pound bags. Wow! Shipping worldwide. If you're in the U.S., go to usa.xpcoffee.co. If you're in Europe or in the UK, go to www.xpcoffee.co. XP Coffee Company, for gamers, by gamers.
All right, we're back here on the Tanndemonium Sports Show, live streaming on twitch.tv/Vendetta Sports Media. And make sure you go to our sponsors, our partners, monkeyknifefight.com. So if you do not live in a state that doesn't allow you to do sports gambling like Jackson and I, go on there.
Terrible.
Yeah, I know. I'm not happy about it. When you go there, you set up your account, use our promo code Vendetta. You will get matched dollar for dollar up to $100 on your very first deposit. Or if you're more into the stock game, go to symbol.app and use our promo code Vendetta and get an extra $10 on your very, very first deposit. And we're joined by one of 26, Mr. Tre Coleman, officially of the In the Trenches Miami Dolphins podcast. Now, Tre, you were just telling us about the things that you saw at training camp that you didn't like. Go on ahead.
Oh man. Okay. So the first thing, because in the trenches, I want to talk about the trenches. So I don't know if our receivers were just really good. Now, you see, actually, preseason answered this question, because if you were watching practice, our DBs were getting cooked, straight cooked, like super cooked, like
like there's a grill.
Yeah,
yeah, it's bad.
Number 9 was flaming.
Like how's Xavier Howard going to be asking for an extension when he's getting lit up every practice?
It was okay, but so the Dolphins scheme is, that 5-0 Patriot scheme, and for the people who don't know what that means is, if you're ever looking directly at the field and you see 11 and 11, and the middle of the field is empty, and there are 2 corners, 2 people standing high, and the middle of the field is empty, that's 0. That means 50. So when it's 0, that usually means that there's going to be a lot of blitzing. You can turn into different types of coverages and stuff.
Basically, it's straight up man, and
Yeah.
the front 7 are just going to be rushing like hell.
Yeah,
You might have your Mike back drop into coverage, but for the most, that's a straight up blitz man on.
Yeah, and that's the cover you on slants, because the real way to beat that is with a quick,
hard slant. Yeah,
hard slant. But it was cool to see that up close and in person, and be like, oh wow. But at the same time, I was worried about our corners, but seeing the preseason, they're actually really good, and our receivers are really good. Really, Albert Wilson, and that's one thing I did like, and I will tell you, Jalen Waddle, that boy is Sonic the Hedgehog incarnate.
He's an alien. Like the way that he's shaped and the way he moves.
Is he faster than Tyreek?
It's unnatural.
Bro, seeing it in person is like Jalen Waddle. If I had to quantify Jalen Waddle, it would be if you've ever played Madden online. When you play Madden online, every so often you'll play a dude and you'll know he's good at Madden because he jukes the hell out of you constantly. I'm talking like take a kickback on the opening kickoff on Madden all the way back and then just mess with you and run it back and then run it back again. That's what Jalen Waddle is. He did this. They were doing this DB drill. It was a cut drill where, the receiver had to shake the DB in between 2. And I mean, it looked like a glitch, like a legit glitch, like he's Bob from Reboot. Wow. And he's gone. He's so fast. He's the fastest human being I've ever seen in person.
So do you think, just from what you've seen, do you think that the AFC East is going to be a slugfest between the Bills and the Dolphins? Or is that Bills defense just going to be too tough?
Bills are good, man.
Yeah, because I know
Bills are so good.
I won't believe the Dolphins have made it until at least I see a game against Buffalo where we're in it. You know what I mean?
So you guys ain't worried about the Patriots no more. You're not worried about the Patriots no more. Now it's Buffalo you're worried about.
Oh yeah, Josh Allen been on our ass like he Leonardo DiCaprio and Django.
I love it. I thought you were going to say Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed, but I'll take Django too.
Nah, Django, like
you put your hands on that tabletop because we gonna burn you down deep.
I'll never forgive Django for what they did to Jamie Foxx's hairline. They gave him that SpongeBob karate hat.
Woo! I love it.
But so it's just I won't believe until we at least put a game against them. And the thing about the Bills is mobile quarterbacks. When are we going to be able to stop mobile quarterbacks? Because that's been our Horcrux, like our Achilles heel, is mobile quarterbacks. And to be fair, I will give Josh Allen all the credit on the planet because Josh Allen is good. He's huge. That is,
I mean, here in Pittsburgh, we've already determined that we're going to lose week 1. We've already determined that. Whose baby is that? Is that my granddaughter?
That's mine. Sorry.
Oh, that's yours. Okay. No, it's cool. It's cool. I was just saying. I thought it was my grandbaby. No.
Y'all play Bills week 1?
Yeah, we play the Bills week 1, and then we play Las Vegas week 2. So everyone's already like, all right, so we're going to lose to the Bills. So what's the over-under that? So everyone's betting on how much the Steelers are going to win by in week 2. I'm like, slow down. You don't know because the Steelers always play down to their competition. Always. So it's almost like if the Steelers do beat the Bills, they're going to lose to the Raiders.
You know what? Hold that thought because Stephon Diggs is hurt right now.
Yes.
And Cole Beasley thinks the earth is flat. So he got to be a flat earther.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been hit too many times.
Oh, I was clowning him. I was clowning him when we were off air. I was saying Mr. QAnon Beasley got sent home.
He got an Ashley Babbitt picture above his bed.
Oh. Woo! wrestling podcast, so I'm giving my best Sting impression.
You like wrestling too?
I love wrestling, man. I love.
Oh yeah,
Matter
man,
of
I'm
fact,
a wrestler.
I was damn
I'm a
near in
wrestling
tears
weeb.
watching CM Punk come back. I was damn near
Yeah,
in tears.
Yeah.
we got a insider. His name's Josh Taylor. He's a Pittsburgh guy. He comes in all the time, and it always delves into, because I'm not huge on the WWE wrestling scene, but the two of them are. So
Well,
it goes from Steelers to that, like in a heartbeat.
I'm more into AEW at this point. I'm
You know
fed up
what,
with
bro?
WWE.
I'm as a little side note, I've been telling myself, because I fuck with Orange Cassidy heavy.
Oh, yeah?
Heavy.
Well,
I
see,
love Orange Cassidy.
I'll
Just
tell
because
you
he's so damn simple.
I've only watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes of AEW because I fell out of favor with the professional wrestling product as a whole about 7 years ago. And I mean, I would come back for WrestleMania, and then I'd be like, all right, some of that product is cool, but what y'all doing storylines, I'm just not in for. Matter of fact, I think I started really losing favor. I lost favor with WWE in the Triple H Booker T feud. That's when I was like,
and Booker T got done dirty.
Yeah. And then I was ready to come back with Kofi. And then I saw how bad Kofi got done. And I said, I'm done. And then I was ready to come back.
You remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin beat him up inside of a Save-A-Lot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when he beat up Booker T. That made me, and the Booker T's credit, man, he took it and kept working his ass off, and I appreciated it for it.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm all for it.
Yeah, when it comes to the Bills, it's Dolphins versus Bills. I'm not worried about Zach Wilson and his crazy ass mama. I'm not. She's psychotic too. I'm not worried about the Patriots because one thing with the Patriots is they got us last year in the first game because we didn't know what to expect with Cam Newton. But I'm taking Brian Flores over, especially this year, because I think what it boils down to is our team's going to be able to stop the Dolphins receivers.
Right.
And that's it.
And will the offensive line be able to hold off the rush long enough for Tua to pick them apart?
Exactly. And that's the issue. Honestly, the one thing I saw that I didn't like, and I feel bad because he's the main character of Dolphins Twitter right now, is Austin Jackson. That's number 73 for us. He does things. He's our left tackle. He does things that, like, when you see it on film and you slow it down, you're like, were you just like not paying attention? What are you doing? Like, as a coach, I couldn't be in there in the film room because I'd be looking at him like, who taught you that? Because the D lineman will come off the ball and he won't touch them. It's like he thinks before punching. And
it's almost like maybe if I think really, really hard, they'll stop.
Well, at least Tua's left-handed and it's not his blind side, so he can at least see it coming. It's about the only advantage he has going.
It's not even just that. He messes up in the run game. He doesn't get pushed. He gets bullied back into the quarterback. And that's our tackles. Okay, just in terms of our scheme, Tua doesn't like pressure in his face. Quarterbacks don't like that pressure in their face. He does. You remember the Bears? You remember the Bears with Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs? They had that double A-gap blitz. You would always see Urlacher standing over the hole, blah, 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 right? So the interior, I think, is fine. Dieter is serviceable until next year. Solomon Kindly is serviceable until next year. And Robert Hunt, number 68, our guard, is going to be a Pro Bowler. Right. So interior, I'm not worried about. Right tackle, I'm not worried about either because I saw Liam Eichenberg in person. I saw him practicing at right tackle on the second team. I said, nah, this dude, he needs to start. He needs to be our right tackle. And other than that, I will tell you our front seven on defense, mean.
Yeah.
So
I even in the Atlanta game, they were running Eichenberg and Hunt on the right side together. Hunt right guard, Eichenberg at tackle. They were mean together.
They pushed that dude to the. Oof.
They were mean together.
They pushed that dude to the employment line, boy.
when they started running Brown and Gaskin on the right side into the they were making runs. They were pushing deep. That looked good. I saw those highlights and I'm like, this is what I want to see. This gives me hope about the offensive line, that it's not the names that are popping out, but they're putting in the work, and that gives me hope.
And the thing is that you want your offensive linemen to be spoken of, like you want your offensive line to be spoken of as a collective with like one name that sort of stands out. That's your leader. That's your anchor. That's your main. But you want your whole offensive line to be looked at as a monster. Like it's just one big monster.
Oh yeah, with the caveat to that being, I don't think you need like a master offensive line to prosper in the league. You know what I mean? You can get by with like a decent line.
Yeah,
but
you don't have to have
one.
You don't have to have like the 1980s version of the Washington football team where their offensive line gave up. Yeah, where they gave up no sacks for the whole year. You don't need that. You just need You just need an offensive line that gives your quarterback 4 to 6 seconds to throw a ball. That's it.
That's a long time.
That is a long. All right, fine. 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, I say 3. But here's the thing: this offense, and that's what I wanted to tell people who are listening and the Dolphins fans, is this offense is built around quick routes, but at the same time deep. This offense is built to score points. I saw that in person. This is a high-scoring offense. That's what they want to be. They want to blow teams out because the Dolphins' defense functions when that defense functions better when they're not playing behind. When they're playing from behind, they can't run as many blitzes. They can't run as many MAC-O coverages, which is the empty field, like I said. And this team is set up to score a lot of points because you got to think about it. What defense can cover Albert Wilson back to his prime, Will Fuller, who other than, getting a little trend in and losing 6 games, Will Fuller, Albert Wilson, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki eating underneath.
Dude, Mike Gesicki, I love that guy.
Me too. That's a lot of people to cover at one time. What can the defense do? Honestly,
I think Mike Gesicki is probably one of the most underappreciated offensive players in the league.
He is. T.J. Hawkinson made the top 100, and he didn't. And I still don't get that.
No.
We'll see.
Gesicki, I think this is Gesicki's year. I think this is the year that he explodes and he's considered a top 5 tight end.
When I play Madden, I purposely pick the Dolphins so I can throw to Gesicki.
Do you use XZ drag trail?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
all the time.
That is the #1 play in Madden. When you in some bullshit, you run X drag trail. It runs a slant underneath with like usually Parker or Grant, and then Gesicki comes over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's open every time.
Every time I run that play,
he's always in my top 1 and top 2 for yards. Yeah, I'm telling you,
Mike G is gonna.
This is breakout year.
Yeah, he's going to eat because of what's around him more now.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to think about it. Who's getting doubled? They got to pick their poison.
You don't double team. Only tight end that you ever double team was Gronk, and that's because when Gronk was there, they didn't have anyone else to throw to. Now they're not going to be double teaming Mike Gesicki
I cannot wait for 17 games of Gesicki and Tua together. And I know it's preseason, so you always got to take stuff in preseason with a grain of salt. But a 50-something yard bomb in first preseason game against Chicago, another big, like 30-plus yard gain through the air against Atlanta, a couple other nice big throws. It's why I think Gesicki and Tua are really starting to form that quarterback and tight end bond right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that from what Gesicki has shown as he has grown, I think Tua's trust in him has grown. And that's why you see Tua just airing and out deep, and Gesicki's coming down with them. And that's gonna be huge. Those are gonna be those home run bomb plays that is what gets in the scoring position or even the scores himself for this offense.
And Gesicki is fast, is got that deceptive speed for a guy his size that if Tua catches him just right, Gesicki's gone. Remember when Jesse James stiff-armed that poor kid from the Buccaneers like he was going out of style, like he owed him money? That's what Gesicki's going to do, but Gesicki ain't even going to have to do the stiff arm really all that much. He's just going to be gone.
It's a man.
Y'all know who's gonna eat too? Devontae Hamstring Parker. He is gonna eat because Devontae Parker will always draw the number one corner.
Mm-hmm.
If there was somebody who had the number one corner tag on their ass, it was Parker because he was all we had. But now, I keep stressing this: defenses cannot cover Will Fuller, and I didn't even mention Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
They can't. They can't. You cannot. There's going to be one-on-one coverage. Defenses are playing cover 3 against us 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be cover 3 cloud. It's going to be deep because they're not going to want to get beat deep. And who's underneath? Albert Wilson, Devontae Parker, Kurt Merritt's playing really good. And I'm just saying, I'm excited for this offense because I know they're going to score points unless this offensive line sucks. And that is our sore spot right now. Our weak point is our O-line.
That's great.
So let's take a quick shift because I brought up Madden a bit ago. What do you guys think of Colin Kaepernick being ranked higher than over half of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL? He got an 81 overall in Madden, and he's specifically ranked higher than Rookie of the Year Justin Herbert, who threw for 4,300 yards and 31 touchdowns.
I don't get how they even got that. that feels a little woke.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
here's and that's the thing.
That for the cause,
right? And here's the thing: I am not anti wokeness. But when I am anti woke is when you start throwing stuff out there that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, you're anti on the nose woke.
Right. Like, yeah, basically when you're being woke just for the sake of being woke, not because it's the right thing to do. Here's the thing. Colin Kaepernick don't care nothing about the NFL anymore at this point. All right. He's still living rent-free in the heads of every bigoted ass football fan and every single one of these owners. He still lives rent-free in their heads, even though he's been moved on. After that farce of a tryout where the NFL tried to pull some sneakiness on him, he's moved on. He's got other things to worry about. He don't need the NFL anymore. The NFL need him more than he needs them at this point. So EA putting him in the game and then ranking him that high, it just goes to show that Madden is just like the Madden is just one of those floundering franchises that shouldn't even be there anymore if you can't do it. Right.
It just is because that's all we got.
Right. Exactly.
It's the best thing about a bad situation.
Right. All right. Let's take a final break before we go to our last segment. I don't even know where the hell we're going to go at this point.
Wherever you want to, man.
All right. Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry if I was a little distracted.
No, not at all.
Nah.
This is every day. This is every week on this show.
I know. Poor Courtney puts together every week, puts this massive list of things, and then here we go over by ourselves.
But you know what? I'd rather have it not.
Tell her I said hi. I didn't meet her.
But all right, well, maybe we can talk Courtney into coming in for our final segment. But we're going to be right back on the Tanndemonium Sports Show, a part of the Vendetta Sports Media Podcasting Network, streaming live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Vendetta Sports Media. Follow us on social media. Go to our website, vendettasportsmedia.com. Check us out on Twitter, media_Vendetta. Follow our YouTube channel, Vendetta Sports Media. We're all over the place. We'll be right back with our special guest, Tre Coleman of In the Trenches, the Dolphins podcast. We'll be back. What happened?
The following is brought to you in partnership by Symbol. Symbol is a new sports marketplace where you can trade shares of professional teams like stocks. You love sports. You interested in fantasy sports without the weekly annoyance of fantasy league upkeep? Then Symbol's the app for you. With Symbol, fantasy sports is going to a whole other level. How it works is simple. You buy Symbol shares for your favorite sim teams on the app. When your sim team wins, you get automatic cash deposits, and you don't lose any money when they lose. That's it. So if you follow trends across football, basketball, and baseball, and you think your team is a sleeper, simply invest in your favorite sim teams on Symbol and watch your virtual portfolio prove you right or wrong. And if you want to get in on the action right away, Vendetta Sports Media's got you covered. Go to symbol.app/Vendetta and use our exclusive promo code Vendetta, and you'll get a $10 bonus when making your first deposit. Symbol, taking fantasy sports to a whole other level.
All right, we're back for the final segment here on the Tanndemonium Sports Show. Trey, real quick, before we get too deep into anything else, is there anything further that you want to plug?
I just want to. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
I want to say thank you for having me on.
Loved having you on, man.
This-
There's not many other Dolphins fans out there that I've been able to connect with being at this site. So I was happy to have a Dolphins guy on here.
I was just happy to be on. I seldom get out much because COVID, but it's hard to have somebody congregate with in terms of sports, and that's why I made the podcast. Was because I know there are fans out there not like me, but who will like what I kind of have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to talk sports and congregate with another group of sports people is rewarding in ways that I couldn't even explain. So thank you for that.
Oh, anytime. I really love the discussion. And I'll tell you the truth, I'm almost tempted, and I'm sure Jackson will be on board with this. I'm almost tempted to say, why don't you come on during the season? We've got a Steelers insider. Why don't we get you as our Dolphins guy? And we'll that way we'll have guests for the NFL season.
Yeah, I'm with it.
And NFL is our biggest season around here, man. When we get an intern class in here, we got new people that come on that haven't been here during football season, and it's like they don't believe us. It's like we got one guy that's kind of in the inner circle, but he hasn't been here during a football season. And he's like, I keep hearing about NFL, this, that, and we're like, dude, it is a whole nother level around here because football and baseball are kind of where our boss Trey, who's normally in the comments section, but
yeah, I know.
I wish he was here too, but he had a late shift at his day job, so he wasn't able to be here.
No, he's so busy. He's so busy jerking off virtual Joe Flacco from 11 years ago. That's why he ain't on here.
Does he use digital lube?
No,
he's got an NFL head coach series going on, and he was crapping on the Steelers. Yeah, Brian's a big Steelers guy, so he was talking all kinds of trash.
He was talking some mad shit. It's like, dude, you're doing something from a video game from 10, 11 years ago that the Ravens couldn't have been praying to be able to do with Joe Flacco, who I never lost sleep for, even when he was in his prime. You think I'm gonna lose sleep over Joe Flacco now when he's in the twilight of his career? F that. Playing the game on rookie. Smith. Yeah, playing the game on rookie, talking about, oh, look what I did to the Steelers. Man, nobody care about the damn bitch pigeons.
Yeah, but football is big for us around here. We got a new Sunday show that's going to be coming out, covering betting, fantasy, all the other NFL stuff. Going to have a bunch of guests from the site on there, which you're more than welcome to come on anytime. You want to hop on and talk something that's going on in the Dolphins game, Brian, the Steelers game. Of course, everyone's welcome.
I do DraftKings. I do DraftKings. I was losing like a mug, but I figured it out. But I can talk fantasy. I'm big on picking people. I do my research. Let's just say that.
I'm not a fantasy sports guy. I'm getting to the point now where I'm analyzing.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, how did I do this week in the live tweeting of the Steelers game against the
I put the official over under count at 106.5 and you hit at 100. It's the first time you've ever hit the under.
Wow.
I thought it was a great line. The fact that I got 106.5 and you hit 100, I thought was great.
Can you guys tell how many people are listening or watching?
Courtney can.
Yeah.
I think.
Hi, Courtney.
Well, so this coming week we're going up against the Panthers. So what's my line for the Panthers this week?
Panthers, you still hit 100. Going based off of what you've done, it'd still probably be about the same. I'd put it I put it at like 107.5. I'd actually go up.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
I'd actually go up.
I will say this real quick before we go into the other things. The one thing I'm noticing is that I'm catching, I don't know if I'm catching trolls or I'm getting people that are trying to troll me because one of the things I said in my Twitter feed is that the 26-20 score, that game was nowhere near that close. Those were like mop up, we don't care points with like a bunch of guys who are not going to be on the Steelers roster after this time next week.
Everybody uses that. Preseason clout is all they got right now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all anybody has right now. But the whole point,
you got clout from McDonald's. That's cool.
Right. So it's like that 26-20 final score. That's nothing compared to what the game was when it mattered, when the real guys were in the game. And I had someone comment on that and go, well, once Big Ben got off the field, the Steelers didn't sniff the end zone. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware.
You really think Ben still got it?
I mean, listen, I know it was only the Lions defense, but I mean, look, when you had a guy that's been starting for your squad since you were in your early 20s, you give that guy the benefit of a doubt until there's no reason.
I'm just listen.
I understand. I do. It's kind of like with Drew Brees. People said Drew Brees had a pop gun arm, but everybody's been saying, like, then this is what I'm saying with Big Ben. The Big Ben, I remember, could sling that damn ball.
Right.
And then in his later years, after he had Tommy John surgery at some point, right?
It wasn't so much. It was along the lines of Tommy John, but it wasn't quite Tommy John. But yeah.
And Big Ben's arm last year, they were throwing it short a lot.
Well, keep in mind too, Tommy John surgery is the upper body equivalent of an ACL tear. So you're not going to be at full strength within a year. It's going to take you about a year and a half. So this year,
last year they weren't throwing deep that much. It was
they weren't.
Stuff.
Well, that and the fact that the offensive line was letting folks back there as if like they were trying to cover the spread. So
everybody could get in the club, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, I could get back there, and I had a year of semi-pro, and I didn't get any sacks. I had like in a 10-game semi-pro season, I got maybe 6 sacks. I mean, not 6 sacks, 6 tackles. Like I had multiple quarterback hurries, but I didn't have any sacks because that was also my first time really being on the defensive line because I was a running back before. So I could have gotten back there and been in Big Ben's face.
It's just the reason I ask is, do you think the Steelers should have maybe, did more for their backup situation, or at least have somebody in place for Big Ben?
See, I think that them going out to get Dwayne Haskins is a major part of that. I think that Mason Rudolph will not be with the Steelers next season. Mason Rudolph's going to be gone. And
I think he definitely called Myles Garrett the N-word.
I think he did too. And I think they need to. And I think they need to get him out of there.
How mad you got to make somebody like Myles. Myles Garrett is a nice dude. You really got to say something in his ear to make him try to kill you.
And the thing is that nobody, even though they said, well, Marquise Pouncey said he didn't say that. That's what Marquise Pouncey's supposed to say. He's that guy's center now. So, but the whole thing is Mason Rudolph is going to be there because he's proven that he's not the answer. And the fact that a man who has not been, now granted, Matt Canada's new offense is a new offense, but Mason Rudolph.
I read good things about him. He's very creative.
Yeah.
Matt Canada, he's the guy that basically made and you hear Josh Taylor say it. He's the one that I can't remember who the guy from Pitt was, but if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have been in the NFL draft.
Was it Nathan Peterman? Was that it? Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman is on an NFL roster because of this guy.
Matt Canada. So Mason Rudolph at least had a season as Matt Canada as his offensive coordinator to know what to do. And he can't look comfortable. Where Dwayne Haskins always looks comfortable dropping back. Always. You know what? I have 2 words too, Trey. Don't care. I didn't sweat the real life Joe Flacco in his prime. I don't care about video game Joe Flacco from 11 years ago.
That's our Boston CEO, by the way.
Yeah.
Making that comment.
See, he likes to stir the pot.
All right, so I'm Trey Dose.
Yeah, you trade Dose. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll say this about Pittsburgh, okay?
Actually.
Like I like the offensive coordinator. I like what I'm hearing coming out of camp and everything, but I just want to see. I'm going to really hold judgment until it's week 12, and it's like a 3-way tie between the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Browns for the lead of that division.
I don't know, man. The Browns got a squad.
I know the Browns got a squad. That's why I'm saying like week 11, week 12, because that's what happened to the Steelers last year. They got to about week 12, and it was like a 3-way race, and then the Steelers were the one who the wheels fell off of. That's what I'm saying about Pittsburgh.
The Steelers,
Browns got a squad.
They were like the weirdest undefeated team last year.
Well, because the problem is that the Steelers were able to make it work without having a good offensive line, with having a horrible play caller in Randy Fichtner. And I'm sorry, I have never been a Keith Butler fan. I want Keith Butler out of town because I think he's terrible at what he does. With that being said, dadgum, TJ Watt is amazing. And when TJ Watt's going to get his money, and with TJ Watt, Joe Schobert, Devin Bush, and Alex Highsmith with Ingram.
I was so mad about that when y'all picked him.
Oh, no.
I wanted Alex Highsmith so bad.
Dude, Alex Highsmith is frightening. Mm-hmm. Alex, I've been watching him very, very close in the preseason, and he is frightening. That spin move is devastating. You have to be like
I used to like Devin Bush too. Not to cut you off, I apologize.
No,
I used to like Devin Bush too, but after what he said about content creators, I was like, okay, dude, forget you.
Well, problem is here's my thing about athletes and social media. Athletes, if I were an NFL head coach, one of the first things I would do is say nobody is allowed on social media unless you're posting something about charity or something for the team. When you're out,
not dancing on the opposing team's logo, or like
that was a little funny
though. or putting your head coach's speeches on Instagram Live, like Antonio Brown.
Look, Mike Tomlin knew AB was loco. He just tolerated it for a long time.
Yeah, because he was good. But then when he started throwing ottomans off of his balcony and threatening to kill his neighbors, he's like, "Whoa, we can't just cover this up."
That's not the Steelers' way.
Yeah. But no,
Mike Tom said Omar Epps looking at it. He couldn't do anything about it.
So let me. All right. So you know what? I will say this though. I'm excited about. I'm excited to see what Jameis Winston is going to do down in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
I think this is his chance to prove that he's ready to be an actual NFL starter.
Jameis Winston has to be the most unintentionally funny person I've ever seen.
I really wish the Steelers would have picked him up. I really wish the Steelers would have picked him up, but I'm okay.
When going to Sean Payton is going to instill patience in Jameis. And he also got that eye surgery because, the last few years he was just saying, fuck it, let me chuck it down there.
That looks like Mike Evans right there.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's like a reddish jersey, right?
That might be a red jersy.
Oops. It's like Steph Curry won an MVP and he could barely see the rim.
Yeah, you feel me? And it worked 30 times, and 30 times it just didn't.
Right. So speaking of
a lot though.
Yeah.
Speaking of Steph Curry, I want to read off the 2K22 ratings because we're getting up against it. So the top 2K rookies: Cade Cunningham at 80 overall, Jalen Green at 79, Evan Mobley at 78, Jalen Suggs 77, Scotty Barnes at 76. I don't know.
80 for a rookie's all kind of high. I've stopped caring about 2K, honestly.
I'm starting to get sick and tired of people getting all bent out of shape and in their feelings about their video game ratings. Man, if you don't shut up and
High as
just
hell for rookies.
if you don't just shut the hell up and just get out there and perform on the court when you getting paid, no, he's not.
He's
All
not.
right. Video game Joe Flacco is only elite because you're playing on the rookie level.
Was he even that elite when he won a Super Bowl?
No. All Joe Flacco was
He
was
got
a
paid
slightly-
and then he sold
he
the
was a
rest of his
slightly
career.
better version of what's that guy's name that won the Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens? The other guy.
Oh, like the
That's
bald
like
white dude that's
50%
on like
Foles is
ESPN
elite.
Primetime or whatever now.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know
And
who
I
I'm
mean,
talking
look,
about.
and playoff Nick Foles is elite, but
Yeah, playoff Nick Foles is elite. Yeah, Joe Flacco is as elite. Yeah, Trent Dilfer.
Trent
Joe
Dilfer, that's
Flacco-
his name.
Nick
Joe
Foles
Flacco
look like-
is just barely better than Trent Dilfer. Okay,
Nick Foles looked like Napoleon Dynamite.
doesn't he? Dude, seriously, Nick Foles looked like he's just going to start breaking into a dance. To win
Nick Foles
intro
almost
the head
retired
coaching
to become
job.
a preacher, and his wife told him, or someone told him, to play football one more season,
Yep.
and he did, and he won a Super Bowl.
Jay Cutler's wife told him to play for us.
All right, so
That's a dark time. Let's not
all
talk
right.
about that.
All right, so top 10 2K ratings real quick. LeBron and Kevin Durant, both LeBron, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Steph Curry are the top guys at 96. Then you got Kawhi Lee, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, James Harden, and Damian Lillard rounding out the top 10. Zion Williams is your top dunker, and he's rated 89 overall, with Trae Young, the heel himself, at 89 as well.
Man, it's just like Zion. I don't know, man. It's like Zion
We're in
at
court
89.
on that.
It's
That-
like, what'd you say, Trey?
I said I was reading the message and they said Nick Foles was elite for those 2 games, and I said
Yeah.
we're in the
Yeah,
court
okay.
on that.
Yeah, we can agree on that. Hey, Nick Foles is hella elite for 2 games. No, what it was is he got those 2K boosters for those 2 games, and he took them at just the right time. Oh,
You got the controller and put it on rookie mode.
There you go. But yeah, he was elite for 2 games, and I give him credit for beating the Patriots?
Yeah, it's the
So
Patriots.
I'm real happy
Hey,
about
look,
that.
the Patriots with Tom Brady could be beat. After he left, I love Tom Brady now.
Hey, Tom, I still like watching Ted 2, where Tom Brady throws Ted. And it's like, you see that, Johnny? A perfect spiral. And they went and lifted up the bed sheet, and his junk was glowing gold. It's like, yep, that's the way everyone in New England sees Tom Brady.
Are used to. They look at him like he Magic Johnson now.
Real. All right,
They call
so
that full circle.
yeah, that's a good one.
There you go.
I like it.
It's a podcaster move right there.
That's right. That's what we call in the business a segue. All right, so that's about it. We're out of time. Make sure you check out the Tanndemonium Sports Show at Tanndemonium VSN. Check out Jackson Law at JLaw1995. And let me scroll back up to the top of my notes because I have nothing memorized because that post-concussion syndrome is real. Make sure you check out Tre Coleman of the In the Trenches Miami Dolphins podcast at PFN Trey. Make sure you follow him, new friend of the show. And we're gonna have Trey back probably sometime next month. Maybe so we can start talking either opening weekend or week 1 of the NFL and see what's going on with them Dolphins. All right.
Let's do it.
And make sure you check us out here on twitch.tv/Vendetta Sports Media, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday. But make sure that you follow and subscribe to the Vendetta Sports Media Twitch stream because we are streaming gaming like mad. Watch out. I guess we'll plug Trey's NFL head coach.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I think he's got his Q&A with Uncle Trey, Big
Q&A with Uncle Trey
coming up next,
which screams next.
And then our fantasy show is after that.
Yeah, so
Tuesday's a packed night for us.
We are packed to the gizzles. but we are mammals. So I guess we're packed to our blowholes.
Oh.
Hole. All right. So with that being said, a definite hardcore shout out to the assistant to Trey, the producer to the stars,
the StreamYard queen.
The StreamYard queen, Courtney, don't call the plumber. Jefferson Legal, Jackson Law, new friend of the show,
It's
Trey
nice to
Dose.
formally meet you, Miss Courtney.
Trey Dose. And we'll be back next week for all kinds of craziness. You know what? Maybe we'll, since Courtney did take the time to delve deep into the 2K rankings, we'll talk a little bit of gaming. We'll talk what's going on with some of the gaming that's coming up, especially in 2K, and especially now. What is that? That what's that game called? That was essentially Left 4 Dead 3, Jackson.
Oh, Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood. It's going to be joining the Xbox Game Pass, and I think I'll be downloading it so we can maybe do some.
Oh, hell's
streaming.
yeah. Hell's
We'll
yeah.
be doing some of that. But I decided though, Jackson, before we go, I'm not going to be doing any sort of sports game streaming until I get a next gen console, because I'm not going to buy a new gen. I'm not going to buy like 2K22 because it's not going to be the best version. I'm waiting till I get my Xbox Series.
I'm so upset right now because I can't get my hands on one. The only way I can play next gen sports games is through Stadia. I don't want to play through Stadia, man.
No,
I'm gonna have to though, and I hate it.
I'm not getting it. I'm not doing all that. I'm actually waiting until I find out that the restock is on my side, and then I'm getting the restock. That's what I've decided. But anyway, I gotta go. Jackson's gotta go. Courtney's gotta go. Stays tuned for Ask Uncle Trey. We'll be back next week at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. See ya.